Education has been identified as the bedrock of knowledge because it broadens the mind. Education makes one receptive to changes, even if it causes the mind to adapt to new ideals and ideas, as well as new thinking. Empirical evidence has shown that an investment in education yields the best dividends as it fast-tracks and enhances the socio-economic growth and development of a people and nation, thereby curbing ignorance and poverty.
Well, I want to tell you the meaning of air. Air is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless mixture of air, gases. Air is what, all of you? Air is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless mixture of air, gases.
Sadly, the level, quality, standard, and even availability of education in most developing countries, such as Nigeria, have witnessed a geometric drop over the years. This unfortunate trend has led to capital flight and education tourism, whereby students from such countries migrate to other parts of the world in search of quality education. Admittedly, though, in the past, governments at different levels in Nigeria have tried to reverse the downward slide, but the result seemed far from the desired outcome.
Any nation that gets it wrong with its education is bound to fail. If you want to destroy a nation, destroy the educational sector, and the nation is gone.
What the government has to do is to put in more equipment so that they can meet up the standard of that other country they are running to. There's nothing special about them. They don't teach better than us.
In Delta State, South Nigeria, the narrative is changing following the dogged determination of Governor Arthur Ifeanyi to do things differently by confronting stereotypes in the education subsector. For instance, at the inception of his administration, he convened an education summit during which experts brainstormed to chart a new roadmap for education. This and other policy initiatives were practical steps taken to return education to what it ought to be. Consequently, a complete roundabout turn has been witnessed in basic and secondary schools, especially in teachers' capacity development, improvement in the supply of learning aids, and the provision of infrastructure.
In the education sector, we've done so well, both in terms of technical education, which is our star program in the education sector. We are rehabilitating and retraining our teachers in the primary and secondary school. We have actually gone ahead to start building a teachers' professional development center at the moment. And what that entails is that we need to have our teachers continuously retrained so that they're able to make the impact in the right direction, and a lot is being done in this stead.
Delta State is unique in many ways among the committee of states in Nigeria, as it probably has the largest number of primary, nursery, and secondary schools.
So we never said we had done all the schools, and it's not possible to do all the schools within the first tenure of an administration, because taking the number of schools we have in Delta State today, the only state that rivals us is Lagos State. So far we've done over 1,400 projects in basic and secondary education alone. And the government has put in over 6 billion to access the counterpart funding from Universal Basic Education Commission, that's from UBEC. The projects are there for everybody to see.
One of our cardinal programs of this government is educational reforms. One of the first things we did, we organized an education summit where experts from various areas of education industry were put together in Asaba. By the end of the day, we took certain decisions. Some of the decisions are that we must, as a matter of principle, try as much as possible to upgrade some of the schools.
I dream to be a biologist, and with these new facilities, it's going to help me achieving my dreams. We thank the governor for providing for us these new facilities, and on behalf of the students, we promise that we'll make judicious use of these facilities.
As at May 2015, when Governor Ifeanyi took over the mantle of leadership of the state, a larger percentage of the existing schools were in very deplorable condition. The eyesore and decay in educational infrastructure and other facilities cutting across the 3 senatorial districts was worrisome. Hence, Governor Kowa reasoned that any proposed reform in the sector without taking cognizance of the wrought and deliberate steps to address same will be tantamount to waste of time and resources. So, he rolled up his sleeves to tackle the challenges head on.
When Senator Dr. Okowa came into office in 2015, the need to, of course, rehabilitate a number of structures in these institutions was quite apparent. And then he did not waste time in approaching it. We have no fewer than 1,125 nursery and primary schools. There are not too many states that have that. We have 465 secondary schools. But even in addition to that, for government to expand the reach so that more persons can come into the schools, we have been able to establish 12 new primary schools as well as 34 new secondary schools. What this means is that we've been able to bring in a number of persons to come into the school system. Primary and secondary schools in Delta today, a good number of them looks like what you can see in universities. Not even many universities have the kind of structures that we have.
This governor presently is a listening governor who has deemed it necessary to renovate our school. The 8th classroom block upstairs, the school admin block is not left out, and the vice principal's quarter that way is also under renovation.
And we have the block of GSS1. And we also have the water project that is serving the school. And we have good toilet facilities, including the fencing of the school with security gates. And so we really want to appreciate the governor. We're indeed very happy for what he has done for this school.
Not minding the existing numbers, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa saw the need to further expand the horizon of education frontiers and enhance more access to education. The administration went ahead to establish 46 new schools comprising 12 primary schools and 34 secondary schools, most of them in rural and difficult to reach areas of the state.
Great Ogunla students! I want to urge you to work hard. I know that when you get home, you have things to do. But take your education very seriously. Because with that, you can become persons of note in the future. Yes. More importantly, and that's what is interesting to you, is that there is a model secondary school being built. And I went to inspect that structure. And I've already directed the MD of the Supernet to make sure that they fast-track that project. Because that is actually the school that we expect people to move into as a secondary school.
I appreciate our governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, because he's an exceptional governor, because especially when it comes to education, he has established so many schools. Even this session, with this, you will know that education is his priority, and also paying teachers as at when due is also kudos to him.
The governor has done very well in terms of whole school concept. You have the fencing, you have the gatehouse, you have solar-powered borehole, you have the renovation and construction of classrooms with furnitures, VIP toilets. All these are put in place to ensure that the children will be enticed to go to school, especially in the rural areas.
Most of the time when I come, I see that children are too many in one classroom. So when I heard of this, I was happy, and I thank the governor for providing it for the community and for this particular Abbey Girls Comprehensive Secondary School.
It is also interesting to note that yet more schools are being proposed for the rural areas to reduce proportion of out-of-school children. Part of the bigger picture is to reduce rural-urban migration in search of education and equally decongest schools in the urban centers.
We reminded him in 2015 when he came for campaign that we have no secondary and no primary school here. So he promised to make sure that the schools are opened. Governor pursued that request to a logical conclusion. By last year, December, they paid the sum of 120 million to acquire this place, the Delta State government. Within the short period now, the school has been renovated. People are happy here.
I can't wait to go to the new school. I can't wait. The school will be lovely. Thank you, Governor Okowa, for building new school for us.
I'm very happy, especially now that we have got new structures in our school. The head teacher, the teachers, and the pupils, we are so happy.
It is not easy to carry on such a laudable projects in my school. I'm indeed very grateful to the governor and the entire stakeholders.
Thus, the upgrade in basic and secondary education infrastructure and facilities in the state as at 31st December 2018 is quite revealing. As it stands today, new classrooms constructed by the state government as well as those renovated are 5,667. The government has also provided 22,748 teachers' furniture and 142,798 students' furniture. The desire to cause a holistic overhaul of most of the schools has led the administration to renovate hundreds of science blocks, laboratories, solar-powered boreholes, and many more facilities that are undergoing upgrades.
We've been commissioning right from Emu. About 15 classrooms commissioned. We went to Abbey classroom, went to Amojon Jokwane classroom. Here, a total renovation, both defense and construction of classrooms. What else can we ask for? We're happy. We've never had it this good.
In fact, this renovation that Okowa came to do in Orako Primary School and Secondary School, most of the students who went to the private school before, they came back from private school to this government school.
When I was looking around the school, I thought they were going to forget us. I thought the governor had already forgotten us. But when I came back and I saw the renovation, saw what they were doing, I was really impressed. In short, I was jumping. I said, our governor has remembered us.
The classes are conducive for us. Buildings are nice. Even the floor in the class, they are tiled, and the place is very conducive for learning.
That is not all, as technical schools have been prioritized to train professionals in various fields to bridge the gap in quality and quantity manpower development. As at today, there are 6 functional technical colleges.
We have only just started. I believe that there is still a lot for us to do, and we are committed to funding technical education to take it to the height that it should be.
Our governor is a smart governor. He believes in the creation of wealth. You can see the impact generally within this short period. You can see the technical education centers in the states. They are working very well. You go there, a lot of the structures are on, and people now have the knowledge to know that the technical education is very important.
19 new technical colleges will be established in the state, bringing the total to 25, which translates to 1 per local government council. This policy is spot on in taking quality education to the doorsteps of the people and consolidates on the quantum gains it has made so far.
In every local government, you must have 1 equipped vocational skill center. There has never been any fantastic plan like that in Nigeria, ever.
Expectedly, there has been an upsurge in students' enrollment as these interventions have had loads of positive effect on the education system in the state. For instance, in 2015, male students' enrollment in primary schools was 169,462. The figure shot up to 174,086 in 2016. And in secondary schools for the same period under review, figures shot up. The same astronomical increase was recorded for female students' enrollment in both primary and secondary schools. From the figures, it could be gleaned that there has been a steady progression from year to year. This increase was also the case in the technical colleges, moving up to 2018.
At the first instance, when we came, the enrollment in the technical education was very low because most people never believed that the technical education can be reinvented. So most of the major technical schools came back to life, and we saw an upward growth in terms of the enrollment in technical educations year in, year out in the past 3 years.
The upsurge in enrollments meant that government has more students to cater to, and thus the number and quality of teachers need corresponding improvement. To this extent, government has ensured continuous training and refresher courses for teachers from time to time. For instance, in 2016 academic year, SUBEB trained 1,000 teachers. There was further training for 100 French language teachers as well as 100 supervisors who were trained on maintenance of standards in public schools. Government has also established Teacher Professional Development Center with the sole aim of upgrading, retooling and training teachers at all levels of education for better impartation of knowledge.
We started teaching before this e-learning came into being. And so for us to be able to key into the new technology that is available, we need to first of all have training to change our mindset.
We are going to change the attitude we are bringing our students up. Some people think you just get into the class and teach them all you have known in the past. With the technology on ground, you should be able to see that when you are even teaching your children, they are checking the Google, they want to Google it out to see whether you are right. So you will carry the children along, not just giving them the mental knowledge, but the practical aspect of it.
Smart Delta. Welcome to Delta. My Delta, my Delta. Welcome to Delta. My Delta, my Delta. Come live in Delta. Come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state. You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta. Make the youth say them higher. Okowa.
It is worthy of mention that education at both basic and secondary school levels are free in the state. This move has been adopted by government as it believes education is a right and that no child should be denied education no matter the circumstance of birth.
I want to thank Governor Ifeanyi Okowa for providing free education for us. The chair they brought for us is enough for us. Now we can sit two. We can no longer sit on the floor again.
The primary school, the secondary school, they are not paying school fees. Because of it, you see parents that cannot afford going to private schools. You see them rushing to public schools where the school fees is not being paid. And another thing again is that without paying that school fees, you can now see the increase in the population of the children. I'm thanking the Delta State government for that.
I have to commend the government. This free education has gone a long way helping. As you can see, it's not only the elites that goes to school. Even the poor can now go to school. They don't pay anything. Just make your uniforms, come to school. The government provides us with textbooks, which we give to them. They don't have to buy some of the textbooks.
We have some questions here. Okay.
As a way of motivating the teachers to give their best, aside the regular training and retraining they get, there is also regular promotion of teachers and non-teaching staff. There has been a constant progression of beneficiaries. For instance, in 2016, there were 6,431 promotions, but in 2018, the number rose to 19,511.
Especially us in the primary school, we have reason to smile these days because our salary is up to date and we believe God for more benefits, and so we are happy and we believe what the government is doing, and we are just praying that God will give them more grace to do more for the pupils and the teachers.
My teaching staff are wonderful. They have really been working, and many of them got promotion of recent. They got around. They actually appreciated what government is doing in that direction.
Teacher recruitment and enhanced teacher welfare have also been ingrained in Delta State education system. The introduction of annual teacher awards, where the sum of 7.5 million naira will be won by 12 teachers and school heads in 4 categories, has also helped in pushing teachers to do their best. This development is going side by side with curriculum development to make school syllabus 21st century compliant and relevant to today's realities.
How many boys are we going to find the total weight? How many boys? Yes, mammals. Is she correct? Yes, ma'am. Is she correct? Yes, ma'am. Give her a sound clap.
I can say we have better quality education now, because then teachers were not many as you can have them now, and we have them more qualified too.
I would like to thank our governor, Senator Dr. Otto Ifeanyi for the infrastructural development he have put in place in helping to build in security, and also the wonderful teachers he has set in place in our school, and also for the good, conducive environment of learning.
And I will thank him more concerning the renovation, because he's trying his best, and also we have more qualified teachers.
The efforts of the Delta State government in standardizing the quality of education at all levels is in tandem with the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, which believes that education is a right for all and that access must be matched by quality. Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi recognizes these facts and rights, and they have fueled this administration's passion and policy formulation in the education sector in Delta State.
Government has done a lot for us, like the provision of a new school and the provision of free education, then the provision of also textbooks for us, and qualified teachers to teach us and make us know morals, give us moral education.
The government have helped me by providing books, classroom, and everything I need for my studies and what I want to achieve in this world.
Smart Delta. Delta State government has been very proactive in getting the education foundation right from the basic and secondary school levels. It has thus gone into a strategic partnership with corporate citizens to help develop sports facilities in her schools. This is to strike a balance between education and sports to build well-rounded students and pupils who are stable in mind and body.
We have tennis court over there at the back, we have basketball, and we have many classes and offices with AC and fan. At least the government, they have done very well.
With this sports pavilion, let me say best so far in Delta State, because during the inter-house, we really made use of the pavilion. We practice every Wednesday, 90 minutes. And the essence of that, students, if you know the area in which you move to that area.
Government has given us all the required facilities we need, like they have provided us with good building, good teachers, and so much, good chairs and everything. So I believe with all this, we can read our books, learn very well in a good environment.
In furtherance of blending sports and education, the government and Zenith Bank are in partnership for a better and repackaged Principals Cup football competition to the tune of 40 million naira annually. There is also the Headmasters Cup competition for primary schools.
Now he takes the kick, and then I can tell you.
We're excited about Zenith Delta Principals Cup. The quality of the game has improved compared to last year. This is getting our youth engaged, and it is good for the state, it's good for the bank, it's good for our country, Nigeria.
It makes me feel happy. Standing before crowd is not easy. I've not done this before. This is my first time, and I thank you for giving me such opportunity. Kudos to Zenith Bank, and all thanks be to Kowa, governor of this state.
It's a big thanks for the governor for making our dreams coming true, taking us to the higher level, a place we have never been before, but by grace for guiding us to here and making us to be proud of our governor.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa's first 4 years in office has witnessed massive intervention in the education subsector in both infrastructure and human capital. Things can only get better as the second half of his journey as governor begins. Increasing access to education by the majority can help improve the overall perception of Deltans.
Come to Delta State, come and see the good things where Okowa they do. You better run, come to Delta State, come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta, make the youth say them higher. Okowa, I see good roads everywhere in Delta, make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta, say me I say, come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.